build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere, build more schools, less jails.
Welcome, everybody. Okay, so we are here to set the record straight about Kamala Harris's record.
We are here in Beverly Hills in front of the home of Jeff Shell, who is the president of Universal Pictures, and he is hosting a fundraiser for Kamala Harris. This is a high-dollar fundraiser that was not open to the public. It is not on her site, and I was told that it's totally private, invitation only. This is reminiscent of the fundraiser that she held in the Hamptons in 2017 with Hillary Clinton megadonors. So while she is saying that she is a person of the people, she's here fundraising with the 1%.
Hi, ladies. Hi.
We have flyers for you. Tell us why you're here today.
Well, I think that Kamala Harris is a phony. She really is an opportunist. She hasn't done anything for people of color. And for her to say now that she's progressive and this is her platform, it's just not true. All you have to do is look at her record.
Why are you here today?
I'm a proud member of the Democratic Party, and upon research into Kamala Harris, I realized that she supports the school-to-prison pipeline model that is plaguing our country. And I don't think Kamala Harris is fit to be the representative of the Democratic Party.
You know, the idea that she's trying to position herself all of a sudden as a progressive when what she has done in the past, her record, speaks for itself in terms of how she has treated black and brown people.
I was just talking to Mateo over here. He said his two brothers are in prison. One of them is an ex-fireman, and she actually rejected legislation that would have freed his brother. Non-violent, low-level offenders. And Kamala opposed that. We're in a rich, high-class area where a president who claims she's progressive and for the people wouldn't reside or wouldn't have a fundraiser.
Hello, Jeffrey Katzenberg. Nice to see you. And that was Jeffrey Katzenberg. He is a kingmaker. The fact that he is here tonight shows me that Hollywood is anointing Kamala Harris as the next Democratic nominee for president.
MSNBC and CNN, they've already anointed her. This is how it works. They give all this attention to the people that they want to promote.
Rachel Maddow, when she interviewed her, said at the end of the interview, "I think you are going to be the Democratic nominee." So much for objectivity of the most watched cable TV host in America.
We see the writing on the wall, and it's really disingenuous to even act like they're going to try to promote any of the other candidates.
Oh, look, another Tesla. So this makes 5 Teslas. You want to tell the viewers why you're here today?
Kamala Harris is just Hillary 2020. She declined to prosecute Steve Mnuchin's bank over the advice of her advisors because he was a donor to her campaign. As California Attorney General, she fought efforts to require all California law enforcement to wear body cameras. She fought another measure to require her office to investigate all officer-involved shootings. She's pro-Israel. She's 100% pro-Israel.
Pro-Israel.
100% pro-occupation.
She kept Daniel Larson in jail even though his lawyer was incompetent and there was compelling evidence of his innocence. So you don't want to give someone a fair hearing, a fair trial. You just are so ready to throw them away and lock them up. She refused to dismiss the case against George Gage after the judge found a prosecutor withheld exculpatory evidence. I mean, why would you not hear evidence so that the person gets a fair trial? She also refused to allow advanced DNA testing for Kevin Cooper, whose case was infected by racism and corruption.
She blocked a transgender prisoner's request for gender reassignment surgery. She supported familial DNA searches, which disproportionately and negatively affect people of color. She was a proponent of civil asset forfeiture and opposed a bill to reform it. She shut down back pages to stop sex trafficking, making the lives of sex workers more dangerous.
Thank you.
So you're supporting Kamala Harris for president, or are you waiting to see?
She's met with Netanyahu. Israel supports her, so obviously AIPAC supports her.
Good morning, AIPAC. Good morning. What an honor.
and it's a problem. And we just can't fall for this just because she's a woman of color. We saw what Obama did, his devastating policies. I mean, what's her position on Venezuela? As far as I know, she hasn't spoken out against it.
No.
And they're going to do another coup, like as per usual. United States foreign policy has been devastating to Latino Americanos, and she's just going to continue those policies. I mean, what is it really that she's done that's helped people of color? And yet here she is in this home with all these famous people.
Oh, John Davis. So that was the son of Marvin Davis. Marvin Davis, there was a big oil baron. He is a huge producer, John Davis.
I guess Trevor Noah is supposed to be here, and all these people with money that really don't. They're not our people. They're just not. And we need to stop pretending like they are and that she represents us. People that don't have to struggle for what they have and have to work. And I don't care what college she went to and what sorority she was in. I really don't give a fuck. The reality is she's not about us. She doesn't recognize our struggles. She's out of touch with what we have to deal with.
But she's talking about $15 an hour, Medicare for all, mass incarceration.
All of a sudden, she's acting like a progressive, but for years, she has been doing things that she is speaking against.
Now, what do you say to people who say that she's evolved?
She has not evolved. It's obviously clear that every rhetoric that she puts out is false. We've seen actions speak louder than words throughout our history, and her actions prove otherwise.
She's not a person of integrity that stands on one side of what she's supposed to represent. It's like here one moment, somewhere else the next moment. It feels like Hillary all over again to me.
She refused multiple times to meet with homeowners who were fraudulently foreclosed upon, forcing occupied foreclosures to finally protest her at the California Democratic Party meeting. She walked right by mostly poor people of color. She let Jerry Brown divert $331 million of a $410 million settlement for homeowners to the general fund when the budget was in a deficit. When it went to the surplus, she never tried to get the money back for the homeowners.
My mom was a victim of a predatory lender, and she lived at home. She's elderly. She was going through battles with cancer, and they actually had her sign up for a reverse mortgage over the phone. Never even came to meet her, and I could get no help whatsoever from my mom. So
It's terrible.
yes.
Some pertinent information.
I want you to know the facts.
Enjoy the event.
Thank you.
Oh, that's her car right there?
I thought she would have
Got
driven
out.
in.
Yeah, she got out with her husband, and then she went in.
They're trying to sneak her in.
Yeah, there she goes. Yep.
That was her. I knew it.
That was her.
And she laughs about things that would have destroyed somebody's life.
And I believe a child going without an education is tantamount to a crime. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. Well, this was a little controversial in San Francisco. And frankly, my staff went bananas. They were very concerned because we didn't know at the time whether I was going to have an opponent in my re-election race. So I sent a letter out on my letterhead to every parent in the school district. A friend of mine actually called me and he said, Kamala, my wife got the letter. She freaked out. She brought all the kids into the living room, held up the letter, said, if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail.
And she's joking about putting parents in jail.
If you're not digging into the reasons why a parent isn't able to get their child to go to school, if they have to leave the child at home to take care of another child, if there are home issues that make it difficult for a child to go to class, parents should not be fined, upwards of $2,000?
And a year in jail.
Right, and these are people who can least afford that kind of punitive measure.
That individual must be held accountable for the crime they committed, which is low-level sales of drugs, so we require them to plead guilty, and must hold themselves accountable to their families and their communities. And so essentially what we did with this public-private partnership back on track is we created incentives using the carrot and stick that I have as someone who carries a big badge, which is essentially, I'm going to tell you everything your mom or your grandmom told you, but I'm also going to tell you, you better do it because otherwise I'm going to send you to jail. It's amazing how you get attention that way.
There's many videos where she's literally laughing about how she sees education and the jail system.
And we run around with these signs, build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere. Build more schools. We protest. Build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. I agree with that conceptually. But you have not addressed the reason I have 3 padlocks on my front door.
There's no humanity to her.
She announced at Howard University where basically
on
she
Martin Luther
was
King Day.
right on King Day, basically to pander for the black vote. If black people knew, and I'm going to do my best to make sure they do know, she's a fraud and she is not deserving of our vote.
Yes.
She's a cop.
What final words do you want to say to the people who are watching at home?
She is a phony. Please do your research. It's there. Her record's there. She can't obscure her record. It's there for everyone to see.